Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Abby Mars. I'm an educational support coach here at Family Matters Parent Training and Information Center. Family Matters is one of the two parent training and information centers that serves the state of Illinois, and we are funded under the U.S. Department of Education to inform parents of their rights and responsibilities related to education of their children who need specialized instruction or accommodations in school. It's important to remember we are not a legal service and we cannot provide legal advice, and no information we give you today should be taken as legal representation. During our presentation today, we will be taking questions at the end, so please either write your questions down or put them in the Q&A box. And I think we are ready to go, Claire. This is Claire. She's joining us today from the Division of Specialized Care for Children out of the University of Chicago. And I'm super, super excited to get to hear all about the program and what it offers parents.
Great. Thank you so much, Abby. As Abby just said, my name is Claire Cook. I am the Title V Transition Specialist at DSCC. That's what we call the Division of Specialized Care for Children for short. So on our agenda today is we're going to have an overview of DSCC's programs and our role with Title V. We'll also look at our transition toolkit and how to use our readiness assessments as planning tools for you and for your child's future, and then also some other transition related resources that we have. So a little bit about us. DSCC is a statewide program, so we have offices all over the state. We provide free care coordination for families of children with special health care needs in Illinois specifically. Our mission is to partner with Illinois families and communities to help children and youth with special health care needs connect to the services and the resources that they need. So since 1935, there's been the Social Security Act that's provided funding for the Title V block grant. That block grant, through the block grant, states receive funding that supports the health and well-being of all mothers, children, and families. So through the block grant, DSCC is responsible for all Title V initiatives related to children and youth with special health care needs. And you'll see that, like as in the graphic, represented as CYSHCN. Some people say SHIN. And that's specific to Illinois. In the graphic that you can see there, it shows what Maternal Child Health Bureau's definition of a child or youth with special health care needs is. And it's important to note that our initiatives are related, all initiatives that are related to this population are something that's statewide. It's not just DSCC, and it's a small piece of the block grant. So my role as a transition specialist is to help youth with special health care needs make a smooth and successful transition to adult life. A lot of our focus is on healthcare transition, but we actively work to try and provide support to providers and individuals who are outside of that realm. As I had said before, at DSCC, we have 4 programs that offer care coordination services. Our care coordination is tailored to each child and family. We want to be able to empower families to achieve their goals, ultimately leading to an improved quality of life, better health outcomes, and overall life satisfaction. So over the next several slides, I'm going to be going over the programs that we offer at DSCC. This by no means is something that is all inclusive of everything that we offer. It's just really to give you a basic understanding. I'm no expert on any one of these programs. So if you know of someone you think that might qualify for any of them, it's the best idea to give us a call, and our enrollment team can follow up with you, and they'd be able to provide resources. But later on, I will uh, provide some information on getting a hold of us. So our first program is the core program. It's for children and youth up to age 21, so that's birth to 21, who have or are suspected of having an eligible condition. The condition needs to be chronic. It needs to qualify under one of those 11 conditions, and it needs to cause impairment or a need for long-term care. And then we have the Connect Care program. That's something that's very similar to CORE. It has all the same eligibility criteria, but individuals are enrolled in Medicaid managed plans. So DSCC contracts with Health Choice Illinois, their health plans to provide care coordination services. So referrals for this specific program are more on a case-by-case basis. With the core program, it's more often children and youth with private insurance or combinations. Our third program is the home care program. This specifically is care coordination for children and youth that require skilled in-home shift nursing. DSCC operates it on behalf of the Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Services, or HFS. And then within home care, there's two populations. The first is under the MFTD waiver, or that's the medically fragile technology dependent waiver. This one is for individuals who have greater care needs. They have a lot of technology needs, so thinking like things like having a trach and a vent, a G tube. And with this program, individuals can qualify regardless of their parents' income, and participants need to be under 21 at the time of enrollment. But as long as they're enrolled when they turn 21, they can stay on it for life. And the second population is a non-waiver or nursing and personal care services program. This is for those who have an identifiable need for in-home shift nursing, but it's not typically with the same technology dependency as with the MFTD waiver. For the non-waiver, something that's a little bit different is that you do need to qualify for Medicaid, and that it ends at age 21. Our fourth program is the interim relief program. That's our newest one. It's care coordination for children and youth that have eligible mental health or behavioral disorders where there's a need for psychiatric residential treatment facility level of care. That's a mouthful. So basically what that means is that it's for those who are needing more of a highly structured 24-hour care environment. These are residential treatment that's anywhere from 3 to 6 months or more stays. Those that have mental health needs that require more intense treatment, treatment that can't be provided in the community or in an outpatient setting. So these are the kids that, everything else has been exhausted, everything else has been tried. Uh, this program also operates on behalf of HFS. And its criteria are that you have to be under 21, not currently in the custody or guardianship of the state or federal, and you have to have a letter of medical necessity from your doctor that details why you need these services. This is a little bit about how to apply for our programs. It can be really tough to navigate support systems for children and youth with special healthcare needs. Our staff are here to help point you in the right direction. So whether or not your child qualifies for one of our programs or not, our staff can still help you identify resources in your area and anything else you might need. There are several ways to apply or get a hold of us. There is a button to refer a family on our website, which I'll show you later. You can give us a call. There's also an application you can fill out, an email address you can send to. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it from the website, and staff or enrollment staff will give you a call and talk to you a little more in depth about it. So the next half of this presentation, I'm going to be talking about our transition-related resources at DSCC, and more specifically, the transition toolkit. So when I talk about transition, or when we talk about transition, we say it's a process. It's not something that happens on the first time you try it. It takes time, it takes planning to get to a point where our youth are ready for adulthood. There's a lot of areas that you should be considering, from paperwork, different skills training, and even adjustments emotionally for your family. So identifying any potential issues and being proactive can really help make the process a little bit easier. So this is a look at the cover and the table of contents of our transition toolkit. This is also available in Spanish. Most of our stuff is in English and Spanish. You can see the table of contents is divided into sections or areas of transition. And then for the most part, it's followed by readiness assessments and then tip sheets that are related to that section. So what exactly is a transition readiness assessment? If you've ever seen readiness assessments, I'm sure you have, it's something that can be really overwhelming to look at. You might not necessarily know what to do with that information after you do it. And it's just can get confusing. So the purpose of a transition readiness assessment is really to start that dialogue with our youth and to get them thinking about their future health, their education, independence, financial future, and whatever else or whatever support needs they might have. It's not something that needs to be cut and dry. For the younger kids, maybe 12 and older, it can really be used to look at where they might need more help or guidance as they start to get older, so that they're better prepared when they are actually adults. And if we're talking about someone who's a little bit older or maybe even a young adult, you can still use it in that same way but it might be more along the lines of looking at their support needs. You could use it alongside a supported decision-making agreement um, to help you identify some of that. And then the steps I have outlined are just suggestions on how to look at it. Use it in any way that's going to work best for you. I'm going to go through these steps during the following slides uh, with an example that hopefully helps explain it a little bit better. But of course, any questions you have, feel free to ask and we can answer it at the end. So basically the steps are to take the assessment or pick an area that you would like to go over first. And then you obviously do the assessment. You can, parents can do their own, children can do their own, and then compare the results, highlighting any answers where maybe your child wants to learn more, or maybe you don't know anything about that area. Scoring is optional. It does, at the end of it, it gives you the option, but it's not something that you have to do. Scoring can be used to measure your progress over time, but it doesn't necessarily predict successful transition outcomes. So you can just use it as a guide. And then lastly, to read and discuss any tip sheets related to what goals you have. Okay, so our example is Ellie. Ellie's a 16-year-old student at Hills High School. She loves hanging out with her friends and playing chess. Ellie has a G tube that she's had since she was 3 because of a GI disease. She sees her primary care doctor and a GI doctor every 6 months. Ellie and her mother are unsure of what her doctor's appointments are going to look like and her self-management abilities as she gets older. They decide to take a transition readiness assessment to get a better look at what her future needs might be. So in this slide, you can see that I highlighted statements that Ellie and her mom marked as either a no, they don't know how to do this, or that Ellie would like to learn more about. I think this could also be good for guardians or parents to look at the areas that they may not know a lot about, and then check out tip sheets about it. Um, there, I'll talk about that later on, sorry. So in looking at Ellie and Stephanie's assessment, their comparisons between the two, some things that maybe Ellie doesn't know about, that mom identified, and maybe Ellie didn't think about, she doesn't know her allergies. She needs to start seeing the doctor on her own, carrying her health information. Things that Ellie says that she wants to learn more about is asking questions. When she doesn't understand things, how to keep her insurance, talking to the doctor, and then even pointing out the things that she already does know. She knows how to explain her health condition. She knows how to get help where she needs it. So after they compare, Ellie decides that the skill she most wants to tackle or work on first is on seeing the doctor by herself and talking to the doctor. So what's next? So Ellie and Stephanie look at the table of contents for titles in the healthcare section that might relate to what Ellie's wanting to work on first. Um, so they look at the first one, healthcare transition, is just a way to learn more about what exactly it is, it entails. There's a good timeline uh, on steps that she's going to need to take as she gets older. Then there's regular checkups. That's how she can learn more about what her doctor can actually help her with, topics she can start to discuss. Primary care providers is a similar one, understanding the role that her doctor has and, what she needs to do to successfully transition to adult health care. And then there's a great tip sheet called Taking Care of Your Special Healthcare Needs, where it's all about learning to take responsibility for her self-care, the an active role in her appointments, understanding treatments and her medications, tips she can use. And then the last one's make each doctor's appointment work for you. Um, how to make the appointment, what questions you can ask. And all or most of these tip sheets at the end of them have extra resources that you can look at after you read through it. So it's really important to try and go over the toolkit in small doses. You can make a plan to look at sections, to complete assessments, or check out resources, practicing some of the skills that it mentions over time. Again, transition is a process. Organizations like Got Transition have timelines that parents and caregivers can use as really good guides for where your youth should be at any where your youth should be at during any age range. It's important to note with these though that the use of age ranges as it relates to skill development isn't always appropriate for everyone. So you should be using the ranges that best depict the developmental age of your youth. That's not to say like obviously there's just an actual age that they have to switch over the insurance, but I'm talking more along the lines of skill development. And then these links are also some good resources. The ARC Center for Future Planning has some good planning tools and worksheets that you can go over. Illinois Center for Transition to Work has a new transitioning from high school to work guide. And then the Exceptional Lives has a timeline too. Another great booklet that we have is our guide to adult benefits, services, and resources. This is so like with the transition toolkit and most of our other tip sheets and things, you can request copies online. There's also PDFs on there. It includes information and resources that can be useful to help plan for government benefits and health insurance. The program descriptions, I think personally, are easier to understand than maybe trying to Google different programs and things. These are just some examples of our other tip sheets. Some of these are from directly the transition toolkit, but you can also find individual copies and others outside of that by searching in our resource directory of the website. Next, I wanted to look at our website just to kind of give you guys a good introduction to it and where to find things, because I think it is one of our best resources out there that not a lot of people understand how to navigate. So it's at dscc.uic.edu. Let me switch my screen. Okay, so here is our main website. As you see, there's a ton of information just on the main page. Right off the bat, if you think your child might be eligible, there's a button to apply, more information about it, ways we help. And then there's like some news and events at the bottom. But what I want to show you mainly is the tabs at the top. You see in the dark blue. There's some great information on each of these if you want to learn more. Even specific offices, if you are interested in finding resources more specific to your area, there's information on those. But our resources, under Browse Resources, there's a specific resource directory that includes everything. It's not just transition related, where you can search. And then there's also family education webinars that they started, the benefits management team started last year. One really great one to note that I saw is happening in May, I think it is talking about insurance changes as you transition to adulthood. And these are for families, and they typically offer Spanish translation, but also there are recordings, PowerPoints, brochures, and things from previous webinars that we've had. And then, so I'm going to go into the transition tools area of the website. As you can see right at the top, it has the PDF for the transition toolkit and the guide to benefits. If you're interested in getting copies, you can fill out the form. And then it also goes into specific areas, so like healthcare resources, education. Our communications team is amazing at updating things and adding different resources that they find or they hear about to the webpage. And the same goes with events. So recently we added a way to refine your search, so you can search something specific and type it in, and it'll give you options related to that instead of having to go through this giant list, because it can be pretty overwhelming. But also, if you want to just browse by the category, you can click on it on the side, and you can also narrow it down to your region. And really the last thing I wanted to show you, let me make sure. I always feel like I go to the wrong spot. Events. So our calendar got an upgrade too, to where they're constantly posting different events on here. You can also search if I'm interested in learning more about guardianship. If there's specific dates, you can narrow it down by your location or categories. Another big thing around summertime is we post roundups of summer camps that are being offered. Um, yeah, it's just a really great resource. And then let me go back. So as I've said, the transition to adulthood is really a process. We are here at DSCC to offer support and resources to make transition as smooth as possible. If you want any more information or resources, especially related to transition, feel free to contact me either by email or phone. And then also with referrals through our website or calling also. But that's all I have. I think you can probably open it up to questions.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was signing up for about 4 different webinars there when you were talking. So, yeah. We
I
do have
know. I'm
one
like,
yeah.
I need to do this too because
Yes.
yeah, insurance. Woo.
Exactly, because I have one that'll be turning 18 in May, so that's perfect. So we do have a question in the Q&A box, and then I will work on unmuting, giving everybody the ability to unmute. But it says, are your resources by county or city? They were looking for specifically in Knox County.
So within the website, it's going to be more by offices. So there's, how many is it? 11 offices. So I'm not exactly sure where Knox County is.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. I was gonna Google that and I got sidetracked.
So there is a way to, I would say, within your
There's a
specific,
find an office tab, and I think you could go then maybe and try to find an office that's close to where she's at, maybe.
kinda, let's see. So when you're in the resource directory, there's the option to browse by region. So there's
Oh,
uh,
it's 45 minutes from.
Champaign,
Oh,
Chicago.
Andrea, I'm sorry, I didn't even pay attention to it. What she's up by the Peoria area.
Okay, so
Million.
you would click on Peoria.
Okay.
That would be your region.
Sorry, Andrea, I didn't pay attention who asked the question. I could have done that for you. Sorry. Okay, so can you send out the link that you're referencing? I'm listening while I'm at work and I missed where the information is located. So I think they mean the website information, which I just shared in the chat, but I absolutely will reshare that. And at this time, I'm going to stop the recording and give everybody the ability to unmute and ask questions live if they want to.